However, breaking news, breaking news, breaking fucking news. Oh, so you're like a rapper or something?
Yeah.
How's that going for you?
I'm coming up smooth.
Oh, of course you are.
Well, if you just gonna knock my hustle, you a hater of me, and my haters are my motivators.
I just think an actual college degree should be more important to you.
I mean, you don't know my life, though.
Okay, look, if you're so talented, how about this? Come up with a rap about the solar system, and I'll let you skip the test and just get 100. How about that? That's what I thought.
All right.
8 whole planets talking big glow, spanning million miles, now dimensions. First of these, look at Mercury. 1. It gets hot enough to melt the metal lead that's over 621 degrees from all the surface heat. 2. Next up, got the twin planet Venus, even hotter in the atmosphere, thick like Serena is. 3. We know us, liquid water pour up, Goldilocks zone, but the woman gotta slow up. 4. Mars got some polar ice caps, used to have some water on it, could have been some life there. I sent a few rovers over, got a little sight there. Left Matt Damon on it, homie, that's a nightmare. Take it to the gas giant, Jupiter the big one, 180 moons in the planetary system. Saturn got the rings and Uranus spinning sideways. Wrap it up with Neptune, Pluto hit the highway. Appreciate the 100, bro. 100, bro. 100.
Wait, so he just gets to leave?
Wait, I wasn't really being serious.
Respect. All right, we have a very, very special guest with us this evening. So we're going to go ahead and get to it. So what we're going to do this evening is we're going to be talking about a lot of very virtual as well as scientific aspects of life. Man, we're going to have some fun this evening. All right, y'all. So without further ado, let's make sure that we give an absolute, very, very warm welcome to the mystic herself. I'll let her say who she is when she pulls up. All right. Priestess, how are you?
Hi, how are you? Can you hear me?
You sound wonderful. I appreciate you. Now, if you don't mind, can you see your settings? Like, can you see where you got your little dots and your options? Can you edit an avatar for us? You see how I have a picture? Like, watch this. I'll do this. So I have 3 dots, and I'll do this. Boom. And then I can just like pick a picture, and then I'll just do like that. You see?
Okay, I see edit audio avatar. Should I do that?
Yes. No. Hold on, wait. Let me see. Is it audio avatar? I believe. Yes, it is. Yep, exactly. And they're just like pick whatever picture you want. Right. You can change it anytime, you know.
Let me see. I don't know what pictures I have here.
Whatever you're comfortable with. You can pick a goddamn rose, for crying out loud. I don't care.
I'll pick one. Hopefully it's nothing. No. Okay, I'll pick this one. If it even shows.
And while she gets that straight, ladies and gentlemen, we're going to go ahead and take a quick commercial break. And this quick commercial break is brought to you by, just take a moment for yourself. It's healthy. All right. Now, that's what I'm talking about. Okay, now. And we are here. Yes, ladies and gentlemen, we are here. And I am here with the mystic herself, and we're going to have a wonderful live. So this right here, now I want you all to pay attention. I have these two figures on my chest, and I wore this shirt for a reason. All right. Now, before we get started, I have to go ahead and, all right, let's go ahead and put you on Do Not Disturb while we go ahead and have a channeling. I want to go ahead and start with you, beloved. So how do you feel this evening?
I feel great. Everything is in divine timing. Everything is for a reason. So when it comes to talking about spirituality, so thank you for having me.
All right. So listen, you do realize we getting ready to just go ahead and jump into the ocean. We're not jumping in the pool tonight. So I just want to prepare you that what we're getting ready to talk about is the most extreme form of spirituality that possibly can exist. Are you ready, beloved?
Sure.
I know you are. That was rhetorical. All right, y'all. So what we're going to do is we're going to go ahead and we are going to take a quick commercial break, but the commercial breaks are all in sequence to what we're going to build up to. Now, first and foremost, you already know we have to go ahead and hit the ensemble. Bye. Okay. So now that we have our ensemble in check, let me make sure the sound is right. You know me. 1 second, 1 second, 1 second. I don't hear it. Oh. Yes. Okay. Yeah. We're good. All right. So let's go ahead and take a quick commercial break. And this quick commercial break is brought to you by tonight. We are just simply going to have fun facts. But we're going to have fun facts to lead you into what we're really going to talk about in the depths of life. Nephew, much respect. You already know. So let's go ahead and get to it. And with that being said, I digress. My mic is muted. We'll be right back after these quick commercial messages.
After these messages, we'll be right back.
And bizarre history facts you won't learn anywhere else. Egyptian pharaohs would publicly masturbate into the Nile as a religious ceremony to guarantee good harvest. Afterwards, other men would follow the pharaoh and also ejaculate into the Nile. In 897, the former pope, who had been dead for 7 months, was dug up and put on trial for perjury and heresy. He was convicted. I guess he had some grave sins to atone. The entire state of Ohio had only 2 cars. Both cars managed to still crash into each other. Many of the streets in California are named after prostitutes. In ancient Egypt, people used to shave off their eyebrows when their cats died as a sign of mourning. Weird and...
Wow. Priestess. Isn't that something? What do you have for that, beloved? Just start it off.
All of it stood out for me.
Oh, we just getting started. Trust me, we got a lot of little fun facts for the evening.
I didn't know any of that. That's interesting.
And this is something that I like to go ahead and speak about. I'm going, you know what? I want to play it back. Now, this is what I want us to do. Out of everyone, I want you to pick one that stood out to you the most, and I'll pick out one, and we'll speak on that one and why it stood out the most. You ready, beloved?
All right, let me see what stands out the most. I'll close my eyes.
All right, there we go. And with that being said, I digress. My mic is muted. Rewind.
After these messages, we'll be right back.
Did you know that Cleopatra's favorite perfume was made from the sweat of horses? Well, no wonder she had such a stable love life. Crazy history facts you won't learn anywhere else, part 16. In the 16th century, it was common to wear live mice as accessories. In the 17th century, the Vatican had castrati, male singers who were castrated before puberty to preserve their high voices. A cow named Pauline was the first cow to fly in an airplane in 1930. The Colosseum in Rome was once flooded to reenact naval battles. In the 18th century, European nobility would often have pet dwarfs as entertainers. Edgar Allan Poe was found delirious and wearing someone else's clothes shortly before his death. In 1907, An ad campaign by Kellogg's claimed that their cereal could cure masturbation. Kellogg's, the breakfast of champions, of self-control. The word avocado comes from the Aztec word ahuacatl, which means testicle. Did you?
All right. There we go. Okay, so
That's funny. The theme is all about castrations, testicles.
we have many different science facts we're going to open up for the night, beloved. It is going to be magnificent. So I will start off. The two that definitely stood out to me. All right. So I got two. You can pick two as well, right? So it's a tie. I can't front. I might have to go with 1 second, please. 1 second. All right. So I apologize, my nephews. The one thing that I definitely noticed that stood out to me was the avocado. Man, I feel so different about eating those, and I love them now. Yeah, I swear, I feel so different. I love eating avocados. I had no clue. I was eating a part of me when it came to history. The next one would definitely be Cleopatra. No, not Cleopatra. Back in the days when they was talking about wearing live mice was a form of luxury. Can you imagine your date pulling up on the first date, right? It's the first date. And he like, yeah, girl, what's up? Get in the car. Boom, you get in the car. And all you hear squeak, squeak, squeak around his mouth, around his neck and shit. And he got a whole, and look, he got like 4 mice, like 2 going up, 2 going across. He got like a cross of mice, and they just a squeaking and a squirreling. Yeah, that's right. To think these are the things of history. What are the 2 that stood out to you? If not one.
I would say the castration, how they, I think it was the Vatican Church, in order to continue to have these gentlemen have high pitched voices, they castrated them. I thought that was like not unusual of the church. They would do such things.
And what's funny? We do have a stereotype. Now watch this, right? So me as a black man, I can go ahead and for some reason I can somehow or another hit a Barry White. We all know that generally speaking, most of the others generally like, hi, how you doing? My name is Jim. Now that's I find that fascinating now that we have somewhat of a connection and we're possibly somehow or another from the women, even our sisters. You as a sister, you definitely sound like a woman, but I think anybody listening would know you don't sound like the others. You don't sound like the other women. You sound like one of our women, because you are.
Yes.
And you see what I'm saying? So so I find that fascinating. Are you ready for the next one?
All right, go ahead.
All right, here we go. I'm telling you, we're gonna roll through them because I want to go through these so we can get to the main video, and that's what we're really going to break down, and that's where we're really going to need your wisdom and knowledge as a mystic. Okay, all right. I know you've traveled many places within yourself. So let's get to the next one. And with that being said, I digress. My mic is muted. The time right now is 11:59 a.m. p.m. East Coast Standard Time. And I thank you all for watching. Let's go ahead and get to it.
These messages will be right back.
Did you know that Cleopatra?
Prepare to have your mind blown with these 25 weird science facts. Did you know that a teaspoon of a neutron star weighs about 6 billion tons? Or that the human body contains enough carbon to make 900 pencils? Next up, the average person walks the equivalent of 5 times around the world in a lifetime. And here's a fun one. Octopuses have 3 hearts, while a snail's mouth is the size of the head of a pin, but can contain over 25,000 teeth. Finally, let's end on a high note. Did you know that there is a planet made entirely of diamond? It's true. It's 2 times the size of Earth and is located in our Milky Way. Stay curious, stay informed, and keep exploring the wonders of science.
Okay. Now, I want to play that one more again for the win. One more time. I want you to pick one of those that stood out to you. I'll pick one that stands out to me. And let me see something at the bottom of my list. Yeah. And then from there, we're going to get to the main video. All right. So let's play this one more again for the win. And with that being said, I digress. My mic is muted.
After these messages, we'll be right back.
Prepare to have your mind blown with these 25 weird science facts. Did you know that a teaspoon of a neutron star weighs about 6 billion tons? Or that the human body contains enough carbon to make 900 pencils? Next up, the average person walks the equivalent of 5 times around the world in a lifetime. And here's a fun one. Octopuses have 3 hearts, while a snail's mouth is the size of the head of a pin, but can contain over 25,000 teeth. Finally, let's end on a high note. Did you know that there is a planet made entirely of diamond? It's true. It's 2 times the size of Earth and is located in our Milky Way. Stay curious, stay informed, and keep exploring the wonders of science.
So I'm going to start that off, okay? Before we get into the main meat and bones of it. So just how you know how we operate on this side of town is. I like to kind of warm folks up, that's all. So I'm going to tell you right now, definitely the snail and the neutron star. I want you to think of anything possibly that we know here on planet Earth that can weigh 6 billion something, whatever, 6 something tons.
Mm-hmm.
And it's only a teaspoon size. I want you to try to just try to picture something that is the size of a teaspoon. Now, what I do know is that when it comes to space, there will be the condensing because of gravity. Because of the gravity force. Usually that comes from black stars. Black holes. Black holes is generally what causes that. So you could have something, you know how we see black holes in space. We can also have an aspect of something was shot from a black hole. And this is also part of the reason why scientists believe that there is an exit to black holes, simply because of the condensation, the condensing of planets, along with multiple other factors. The other one that really got to me was the snail. Beloved. Okay, so I want you to picture. All right. Can you picture 25,000 teeth being inside of something this small? You know what I'm saying? That is absolutely out of this world. That is like, you know what I'm saying?
Imagine the person that took the time to count that.
Man. But what do you have, unless you want me to play it back one more game before we get to the main video?
I would say the diamonds and the octopus with the 3 hearts.
I kind of had a feeling the diamonds would get you. I kind of.
I want to go there. Where's that at?
Hey, I know, right? Definitely. Can you imagine standing under a tree with leaves full of diamonds?
Yeah.
Can you imagine that, right? All right, y'all. So we're going to go ahead and get to the main video. So we're going to go ahead and get people warmed up, okay? All right, y'all. So what we're getting ready to talk about is something that a lot of people do not like to talk about at all. It's something that a lot of us shy away from. It's something that we are definitely fearful of. All right. So we're going to go ahead and get to it, right? Let me ask you this. Priestess. When it comes to, right? When it comes to, yeah, I got to make sure for this moment.
I should get
Hey,
my
nephew, please come get this incense. I want to ask you a question. When it comes to, right? Like when it comes to when we cross, what does your studies of mystic speak about the transition? We're going to go all the way there. Thank you, nephew. I appreciate you. All right. Take this and put this. I appreciate it. I want to know, what do you think about that? The transition. What does the mystic forces, what does the mystic side of what you learn, what does it prepare you for? See, what we're going to speak about today is something that nobody wants to speak about. And you know what I love about this video? It's not religious. It's just thought process. Some will call it a religious form, but this is more so of a lifestyle. And if anybody who's really tapped in and knows that it's a lifestyle. So let's just start there. In a nutshell, beloved, what is your view on the whole process of crossing over?
Well, it's something that technically, if you want to get deep, we do every night when we close our eyes.
Astral plane.
Yes.
Talk about it.
Because we're not just a physical form. Per my studies, per my download, I've been understanding we're consciousness. We're consciousness, and some of us, it gets deep, can exceed consciousness. But like just for the sake of consciousness, we are infinite consciousness existence that come into form in this timeline right now, to remember ourselves as spiritual beings. What we call death is also AKA ascending, which means rising in consciousness, understanding yourself not only as a physical form, and in doing so, you understand you're the very consciousness that manipulates the surrounding, or your world, your surroundings. So, like it gets really deep, so I won't go in too deep.
I like it.
I'm trying to break it down where, like, as if I was telling my parents this, because my parents are extremely religious. So, and also as practical and tangible as possible, because this is not, it took me years to understand it, because I too also have had my a near-death experience, and anyway, so where are my downloads? These are my downloads, and this is going to be my first time sharing it, but my understanding is human beings used to meditate. We used to meditate, and we used to do dream work. In doing so, we understood existence was fluid. You're saying, how is this in relation to death? You would know there's no death. The word makes no sense. There's no such thing. Death would be silent.
Priestess.
I know it's deep.
No, wait. No. I had to, because you're giving them too much too early. We gotta We want to wean them into it, okay? So everybody, this will be the loudest noise that you will hear for this entire segment. And with that being said, we're going to go ahead and get into this. So let me go ahead and get my settings right. Okay. All right. So here we go. In 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. We are now diving into the realm of death.
Your last breath fades. The air leaves your lungs one final time. And the body you have known, the body you have lived inside your entire life, falls silent. And then something happens.
Fair use, fair use, fair use. This is for educational as well as entertainment purposes only. Thank you so much, YouTube. Fair use, fair use, fair use, fair use.
The world does not go black. Consciousness does not vanish. Instead, you feel a strange lightness, as if the weight of existence itself is being lifted. The room around you seems distant, blurred, unreal. Sounds stretch and echo. Time slows, and in that moment, you realize something shocking. You are still aware, but where are you? For centuries, civilizations across the world have tried to answer this question. Some say the soul ascends, pulled toward a tunnel of light. Others say it lingers, trapped between realms, wandering in confusion. But there is an ancient text, a sacred book, hidden for centuries, one that claims to hold the truth.
That's very much
Oh, we're just getting started, beloved. I told you we're gonna have a great time tonight. So
What's
what's your first part of that?
what's ironic, and it's gonna sound crazy, is the very first part of that where he says the body you lived in the whole time, and you leave it behind because of the belief system. You can bring, I don't know, sounds crazy, but you can bring the physical form with you because physical existence is an illusion. Like, you're immortal. That's the part where you don't have to die. That's the part that gets really controversial, really deep, because you have to understand yourself to exist greater than the physical form. The ascension, the part of ascension is rising. The word ascend means to go up, to rise. So you're rising in consciousness and awareness. So as you go to, when I say go to sleep, you leave the energetic body, the physical body behind. You shouldn't have to. You should be meditating, doing dream work to the point where you understand, oh, I have the choice too.
Wait, beloved, do you really believe and think that most people know how to meditate during sleep? Or do you think, like even myself, when I'm tired enough, I just go to sleep, and whatever happens during that time is what happens. So
Yes,
if you are going to say that, I would at least say, could you give those who are not as hip a little bit of insight as to what to expect or how to navigate themselves? Because see, right here, what we're playing this evening, we're literally playing the actual process. And you know what's so crazy?
Discipline.
Briefly, you know what's so crazy, beloved?
Mm-hmm.
I'm telling you now, this is going to be about 45 minutes. Beloved, this goes in places I'm wearing a shirt. You know these two people. Everybody knows these two individuals.
Around the world.
And you know something? I'm wearing this shirt for a reason because, you know, like many others, I wondered what went through their mind during, you know, I've always wondered that. That's why I've always studied theology.
They knew the occult. Don't sleep on them. They knew the occult, both of these gentlemen. I received downloads about those gentlemen, and they chose sacrifice. They asked them, would they sell their moms? They said no. Biggie,
I don't think you understand. Like this entire shirt, like no, listen.
Oh, I didn't
look.
see him. I didn't. Oh, Michael. Oh, Michael. That's
and Easy E. I'm trying to get it. And
oh, I didn't see the whole entire shirt, but those two gentlemen, we know about them.
Yeah, like it's an entire. So my point is, I'm wearing this shirt for a reason. I wonder what was going through each of one of their minds moments after the soul reached the collarbone. That's why I have you here tonight, priestess. I want you to really, you know, help us in whatever form of fashion that you have information on, as well as I'm learning. You're as well learning. And we're all going to teach each other, right? But what I want us to do is I want us to get back to the video just briefly. And I'm going to pause it in 1 minute. And then I'm going to go ahead and let you hit the floor. So when I pause it, you always got first dibs. Okay, beloved?
Yeah, sure. No problem.
Much respect. And with that being said, I digress. My mic is muted. Let's get back to the video.
It is called the Bardo Thodol, but in the West, it is known by another name, the Tibetan Book of the Dead. And what it describes is unlike anything you have ever heard before. Not myths, not speculation, but a precise, step-by-step account of what happens after death. It is not just a religious text. It is a map, a guide written to lead the soul through the most mysterious and terrifying transition of all. And if this book is correct, then death is not the end. It is a passage, a test, a gateway to something far greater or far more terrifying than you could ever imagine. Because according to these teachings, the moment you die is only the beginning. The Bardo Thodol describes a series of events that unfold in the minutes, hours, and days after death. A journey through visions, illusions, and choices. A series of gateways where the mind, free from the body, faces its own fears, its own karma, and its final destiny. Some will transcend. Most will return. But only those who understand the truth can navigate what comes next.
You have the floor, beloved. What do you have from that?
He's actually on point.
I'm trying to tell. Listen. When I tell you we about to really tap in, I'm serious. I take my time to look up my research.
So he
It's
said,
wild, right?
let me catch my thoughts. I would have to, like, as you put them, I would have to write down notes because I know you went and you were going.
I'm gonna tell you right now. No, real talk. Go get your pad. Get it, like real talk.
I was gonna go ahead and explain each. there's three things he said that I wanted to elaborate on. But there was one more thing that before you played the video, one of the questions was, how does someone do that? Like, understand themselves greater than the physical form. One of the books that I did, I used to do book studies. Well, some of these authors do put it on here, which is astral projection, dream work, and meditation, because the goal in existing, the term ascended master is a master that knows how to die. To ascend is to wake up. To ascend is to rise in consciousness, to know that you don't have to die. That's how you become immortal. You see, like you become greater than the physical form, because you understand you're not just the physical form. So there really is no difference in your existence right now based on what he's explaining and how to go about it, so it's tangible and so it can make sense, where you can apply all this in your everyday life, is literally take on meditation, dream work, like you would a 9 to 5. You wake up, you drink your water, you hydrate, meditate, sun gaze. I go as far as fasting. I've done 3 weeks fasting, and it gets really deep for me. I start to see through the realm. I mean, it gets deep, it's deep. If you genuinely take your spirituality seriously, like you would a 9 to 5. People only take their 9 to 5 seriously. But if you understand the purpose of this mysticism is also to cultivate, because there was another thing I used to say that was really hard for even me, but we're supposed to be a height in existence of the 11th dimension and higher. You know how we call this dimension the 3D, 3D, the matrix, the physical world. We're supposed to be at minimum a 11th or 12th dimension, where we're literally manifesting from the void, the nothingness. So when I say nothingness, I mean great potential, not insignificance. Nothingness meaning great potential. So I used to say, we don't need money to create. I'm not saying don't pay your bills, obviously. If you still have the belief system of certain things, it takes certain level of discipline and heightened consciousness of meditation for you to understand the expansion of your existence isn't limited to the physical programming of existence. So when I say we don't need money to create, you're not triggered by those very words. That's, like certain groups of people in society are triggered by that. That's when you play the game of the politics of existence, because you're dealing with race and this and that. It gets as disgusting as some occultists know how to cross borders. You know how build a wall. That's a joke, because there are those who know how to cross borders without even being seen. Period.
Yeah, like via go underground tunnel or there's so many
higher than that.
Swim around, fly over. I mean, the possibilities are endless, and you're absolutely on point, beloved. Absolutely smack on point. Continue, please, before we get back to the video.
Let me get a pen and paper, because there was what he said about people that transcend. So people who are really, when you were here in the physical realm, you did do a lot of meditation and did do a lot of dream work. You did do a lot of conscious work. It's easier to transcend. You're not afraid of yourself outside of the physical realm, because you were doing it right here, to the point of something called samadhi. That's
Wait. I'm sorry. Say that word one more again for the win.
Hold on, let me look at the spelling. Yeah, let me look at the spelling quickly.
Okay. Just so we, because we like to make sure that we give the people proper information. And that's something that's new to me, as a matter of fact. I never knew about something.
Samadhi is SAMADHI. D as in dog, H, I.
Mhm.
A state of intense,
Samadhi. All right.
a state
All
of
right.
intense concentration achieved through meditation. In Hindu yoga, this is regarded as the final state at which union with the divine is reached before or at death. So remember, there's no such thing as death. So samadhi is what spirit, like my downloads at this point, I'm going to call it spirit consciousness, says that human beings used to meditate. Like, you know, how we believe in going to work 9 to 5. All of
Right.
humanity used to be in a state of samadhi. This is
Mhm.
where we would all sit down and we would meditate. We would create realities with consciousness awareness outside of the physical density. Okay. And that's why some people would say, yes, we would come into fruition. And this plane of state of third dimension would be a vacation, because this is where you get to feel, taste, do things, you know. And we've forgotten, even here in this realm and space, in this physical realm, we can move things, do things. We
Mhm.
manipulate the reality around us, because everything is vibration, isn't as dense
Yes.
as we believe it to be. So that's what the yogis say when, you know, they try to teach us humanity only existed for 5,000, 10,000, 20,000. No, humanity has existed for millions of years. When you read the ancient yogi text, and I'm sure if we go into different cultures, these books exist that explain that human beings have existed for millions of years. And there's other books that explain that humanity has devolved, not evolved, because everything that we consider significant is actually insignificant, because we're able to do it ourselves, because we are the magic. Like I was telling you
Wow.
yesterday, we're supposed to be getting big chunks of concepts in our mind. The tedious way in which we're programmed to learn is degrading to humanity, because we're able to take on full-blown concepts like calculus. I took calculus in high school. Mind you, I'm not a math person. I just took it because I'm just that type. I like to study. I fell into calculus. But like subject like calculus is something that it's a full-blown concept that should be able to be downloaded into, like, just be understood. That's how
So,
big
so,
awareness we are.
so let's just go to here. Now, what we're going to do is we're going to make sure that we keep the flow of the video going. Okay. So
Sure.
I'm always going to make sure I give my boom. I'm going to give you a boom, and then we're going to get back to the video. But what I want to do is I want everybody to get well acquainted with who it is that we are speaking with this evening. And with that being said, I digress. My mic is muted. You already know, y'all. We're going to take a quick commercial break and get right back to the video. Let's do it.
After these messages, we'll be right back.
I thought that we were the power because didn't we create it?
Yeah. We take my time and have the whole world wake up. Humanity wake up. Nothing is taking over unless you allow it to take over. Humanity feels defeated. We've been through so much, and we feel we owe and we're obligated to society only, and don't look into ourselves and who we are as society. We are the power.
I want some of your brown sugar. I want some of your brown sugar.
Much respect to the family. All right, so we still here. We are still here. Let's go ahead and get back to it. So now what we're going to do is we're going to step back into this round. Now, what I want us to do, Priestess, if you don't mind, I want us to make sure that we kind of stay really geared in. And I want us to make sure that we keep them honed in on this video. Because this video is so important. So let's go ahead and see what we got right here. All right. So we're going to go ahead and we're going to get right back on into it. With that being said, I digress. My mic is muted. Let's go ahead and get to it. Let me see. Bow and bow. Let's go.
No longer what happens when we die. The real question is, will you be ready? There is a book, not an ordinary book, not something found on a shelf waiting to be casually read. This book was meant to be hidden, meant to be kept away from the unprepared, because what it reveals changes everything. It is known as the Bardo Todol, the Tibetan Book of the Dead, a text that claims to hold the truth. It is called the Bardo Thodol, but in the West, it is known by another name, the Tibetan Book of the Dead, and what it describes is unlike anything you have ever heard before. Not myths, not speculation, but a precise, step-by-step account of what happens after death. It is not just a religious text, it is a map, a guide written to lead the soul through the most mysterious and terrifying transition of all. And if this book is correct, then death is not the end. It is a passage, a test. There is a book, not an ordinary book. A whisper among the initiated, a secret held by monks who spent their lives preparing for the moment of death. But now, something has changed. The book has resurfaced. The knowledge is being revealed. Why? Why now, after centuries of silence? Perhaps the world is shifting. Perhaps consciousness is evolving. Or perhaps something wants us to remember. Death is not instant. The body may stop, but the self remains.
And continuously, you know what I hear continuously? I'm always hearing that there is a moment in which we still recognize and we can see what goes on around us. I'm going to get right back to the video. But me as somebody who actually has had a circumstance in which, you know what? I had surgery one time and I actually was able to see my mother come up and shake my leg. I saw the doctors rubbing together the defibrillators, because what happened was during my surgery, they gave me too much anesthesia. My heart stopped. And you know what's crazy? All I'm going to say is this. What I do remember personally, and this is real, I remember there was no weight of feeling. Like right now, as I lift my arm, there's still some form of weight, even though I don't have anything in my hand to lift it. So I want you to imagine moving any part of your body and you don't feel that you're moving it, but you're doing it fluently. I want you to also imagine that there is no longer any temperature, none at all. It's not hot, it's not cold. It's not even the perfect temperature. There isn't any. I want you to imagine existing, right? So 1 second, please. I want you to imagine actually knowing what it's like to just keep on moving around and breathing, but you are not inhaling and exhaling. I need people to recognize something. I cannot really speak too much about what it is that I once upon a time have experienced, but what I can say is this, in which you think is the beginning and the end, is far from it. And with that being said, I digress. My mic is muted. Let's get back to the video.
For a brief moment, seconds, minutes, maybe even hours, you are still here, aware, watching, feeling something beyond anything you have ever known. In those first moments after death, there is no pain, no struggle, no weight holding you down. Instead, there is a strange lightness, a sense of separation. The Tibetan masters called this the Chikai Bardo, the first stage of the afterlife, the transition, the moment the soul begins to leave the physical world.
This is the part that I want to speak about with you, beloved. You know what's so fascinating to me about this entire dynamic is that usually from a religious aspect, we are told that once you pass away, it's either up or down. That's it. It's just you go to hell or you go to heaven. You either, well, you're judged and then you go up or down. What I found so fascinating was how many steps, doors, and walkways there are throughout the entire process after one's soul reaches the collarbone. Now you got the floor, beloved. Rock out.
That's very much the case with a lot of like how you explained being over your body, feeling over your body. You're able to see the people around you, yet your heart's not beating because they needed a defibrillator. That was the case with me when I had my NDE, my near-death experience when I was 12. I too was like above my classmates. I didn't see my body, I don't think. Or if I did, it would probably have been too traumatic to understand it because I didn't awaken to that moment until I was 28, even though it happened when I was 12. But so what he says about death when it's unfamiliar is, once again, we have solidified our existence to a point that this is all there is, that everything and anything that happens out of the scope of science is considered a miracle. Oh my God, how did it happen? Da, da, da. But these are things that what we call miracles are possible. Like I think I was saying, we're able, once again, this is going to be controversial. We're able to, but you have to understand you're dreaming. This is an illusion. And that comes from practice of meditating, astral projection, dream work. You'll understand this is just a dream. Row your boat.
Ask you this. Let me
Life
ask
is
you
a
this.
dream.
So let me propose this question that I believe most people of certain headspaces would ask when you say that, right? All right, so this is all just a dream. Then if this is all just a dream, then is the after this a dream?
Well, from my understanding, we're always dreaming dreams. There is a point of awakening. There is a point of awakening where you find yourself at the 0 point and all you do is vibrate. You not as a physical form, but as consciousness. You vibrate as a light, and you start to understand the very fabric of existence, and you understand that you are everyone and everything, whether they are existing or not, because there's the understanding of a certain level of unity consciousness. So when we fall into the illusion of a physical form, which is an illusion of a physical form, the dream time, we come in to play the game so we could remaster ourselves. Again, the word ascended master. We are ascended masters. Those of us who have these near-death experiences, so-called death experiences, we come into fruition to remember the strength of coming down to such mockery of our existence, which is the illusion of a physical form, so that we can ascend, which is to rise in consciousness and awareness, to understand that there is no death, to the point where I was trying to say that we can walk on water, we can heal ourselves, we can manifest without money, we can be in the 11th or 12th infinite dimensions and realms. We exist as different beings. It gets really deep the more expansive you understand your awareness to be. That's why certain things like shrooms, I'm not saying anything about drugs. I'm not saying we should do none of that. I don't. Meditation, hydration, some That's funny. I'm a little afraid to do shrooms because I'm very sensitive to drugs. I had to remove all 4 of my wisdom teeth, and I took 2 Norcos, and I was having an out-of-body experience off of that alone. So
Let's get it. This that go and get it. With no hesitation. This that never quit. Start that elevation. This that process. This that in the making. This that started from the bottom. This that motivation.
yes.
And with that being said, we're going to go ahead and get back to the video. The time right now is 12:43 a.m. East Coast Standard Time. And I thank you all for watching. So we're going to keep on making sure that we kind of flow through the video so we can get through it within, I would say, a 2-hour time frame. Is that cool?
Sure. Wait, 2 hours?
Yeah. That's why I want to keep getting back to the video.
Sure, go ahead.
It could be short. All right. So what we're going to do is we're just going to flow through the video, and whatever your time frame is your time frame. But I promise you, I will be right here, and I'm going to speak on this entire concept because it's something that has fascinated me for the longest of life. And I want us to recognize that you don't have every day. And once that moment happens, these are all the decisions that you had to prepare yourself for here, then. Let's go.
And what happens next depends entirely on whether you are ready for it. Some describe floating above their own bodies, looking down at the lifeless form they once inhabited. Others say they feel a pull, as if something is guiding them toward an unknown destination. Near-death survivors, those who have been to the edge and returned, tell eerily similar stories. They speak of tunnels of light, of voices calling their names, of a presence, something watching, waiting. They describe a sudden flood of memories, a replay of their entire lives in a single, overwhelming instant. The Tibetan Book of the Dead describes this too. It speaks of the moment when the veil lifts, when all illusions fall away, and the soul sees its true nature. For those prepared, this is the greatest opportunity. A chance to recognize the clear light, the infinite consciousness beyond time, beyond form, the gateway to ultimate liberation. But for most, It is too much. The light is too intense. The truth too vast. Fear takes over. The mind clings to what it has always known. And in that moment of hesitation, the opportunity is lost. The soul retreats. And what follows next is far more unpredictable. Some find themselves drifting, lost in familiar places, unable to accept that they have died. Some enter visions of beauty, of peace, believing they have reached paradise, only to realize later that it is just another illusion. And others step into something far darker. The Tibetan masters warned of this, that if the soul does not recognize the truth in those first moments, if it does not let go of fear, of attachment, it will enter a realm shaped entirely by its own mind.
And that right there, you know, I wonder about it. Is it really something that is really shaped by the own mind? Is it really, you know, like it's crazy, like to think about it. Go ahead.
It's based on the way you die. If that's the part he's talking about, when you're remanifesting your existence based on your belief. So people who believe in hell, they can remanifest hell after death, after existence, because that's their construct of their belief. Your belief can be taken with you to the other side, but it gets complicated because you do have a certain level of protection, which is you know, you get into your ancestors, we different names for it, which is really particles and essence of yourself, reminding you as the wholeness that, hey, you're no longer in the physical illusion. It's just a test. A lot of people, when you really go in, you learn, oh my God, this was just the play. It was just a test. It was just, you know, let me, you know, shake it off from the other side. You're like, oh, shake it off. Life is, you know, it's just a play. It's just a dream. Life is just a dream, like the songs say. So people who live mostly a dense life, you know, wake up, go to school, go to work, they tend to, you know, if you don't, like I said, meditate, do anything spiritual, you know, that's the danger of a certain level of religion, because it doesn't teach you to meditate as well. Close your eyes. They used to have the word reincarnation in the Bible a long time ago. I don't know if it's still there. I haven't read the Bible in a while. But reincarnation is the consciousness coming back again to redo what it left off, where it left off, because it didn't do it right. That's where the term ascended master comes in. It's a spiritual joke to say you're an ascended master, because you keep coming back in here, you keep coming back in here, no, fool, you're supposed to be able to transcend this existence, understand the vibration of this existence, and manipulate energies around you to create and fruition this reality. So when you leave so lost that you fall into another illusion and another illusion, that's the thing with cemetery work. Some people don't even know they're passed away. They relive a paradigm. This might sound creepy, but there's a lady that manifests. Well, they're saying it's a little sacred to talk about, but there's people that remanifest themselves back in the same situation, talking about the same stuff, even though they've passed away some time ago. I don't know if that makes sense.
It's not about if it makes sense. It's about whether or not you're giving us information that there are things that a lot of us may not be hip to. The fact is that you are divulging information of wisdom that derives from what it is that you have been able to tap into. And this is why I called you up here this evening. And I appreciate you for this. This is a very, very special live. So now what we're going to do, we're going to go ahead. We're going to take this moment now. We're going to get right back into science. And this is our last little, it's going to be a 10-minute segment, right? So we can go ahead and get this go ahead flowing and wrapped up so we don't get held up too long. And with that being said, I digress. My mic is muted. Let's go ahead and learn some more. Now, before we do,
However, breaking news, breaking news, breaking fucking news.
Music.
Oh, so you're like a rapper or something?
Yeah.
How's that going for you?
I'm coming up smooth.
Oh, of course you are.
Well, if you just gonna knock my hustle, you a hater of me, and my haters are my motivators.
I just think an actual college degree should be more important to you.
I mean, you don't know my life, though.
Okay, look, if you're so talented, how about this? Come up with a rap about the solar system, and I'll let you skip the test and just get 100. How about that? That's what I thought.
All right.
8 whole planets talking big glow, spanning million miles, now dimensions. First of these, look at Mercury. 1. It gets hot enough to melt the metal, let us over 621 degrees of Mars surface. 2. Next up, got the twin planet Venus, even hotter in the atmosphere, thick like Serena is. 3. We know us, liquid water pour up, Goldilocks zone, but the woman gotta slow up. 4. Mars got some polar ice caps, used to have some water on it, could have been some life there. I sent a few rovers over, got a little sight there. Left Matt Damon on it, homie, that's a nightmare. Take it to the gas giant, Jupiter the big one, 180 moons in the planetary system. Saturn got the rings and Uranus spinning sideways. Wrap it up with Neptune, Pluto hit the highway. Appreciate the 100, bro. 100.
Wait, so he just gets to leave?
Wait, I wasn't really.
Wonders of our planet. We're counting down the 15 most astonishing facts about the Earth. Number 15. The Earth may have had 2 moons. According to some reports, Earth may have had 2 moons in the distant past. The theory goes that a tiny second moon once orbited Earth before catastrophically slamming into the other one. This would explain why the dark side of the moon looks so different than the side we see every night, as the dark side may have been pancaked by this smaller moon before it either broke itself to bits or spun out of the Earth's orbit.
oh shoot, my bad. I had no clue possibly the Earth used to be purple. Would you have ever thought that? I'd have never thought that. The Earth possibly used to be purple. We also possibly used to have 2 moons. Now, that right there, I'm not too surprised about that. Science is very, very fascinating. Let's go ahead and get back to it. Let's run through this video so we can go ahead and have a wonderful evening.
Number 14. Days are getting longer. When the Earth was formed about 4.6 billion years ago, a day would have been roughly 6 hours long.
Can you imagine that? We're now up to 24. Amazing.
Now, the number is 24, and every century that number increases by about 1.7 milliseconds. This could be a result of climate change, according to Professor Duncan Agnew from the Scripps Institution of Oceanography. Quote, as polar ice melts, the water spreads out over the whole ocean, causing the same effect as the skaters spreading their arms out. The Earth slows down, end quote. Number 13. The Earth used to be purple. While this one's still up for debate, there are some scientists who believe that the Earth was once purple. The basic idea behind this claim is that while today's plants are green thanks to chlorophyll, in the past, ancient plants may have had a different molecule to harness the sun's rays. Known as retinol, it would have given organisms a violet hue. However, because chlorophyll was more efficient, it likely beat out retinol, giving the world the green color it's got today.
What do you think about that, beloved? You're on mute. Yeah.
Oh, I'm sorry.
It's all good.
I think that's, well, all of this is new to me, to be honest, but I have heard there's several moons, more than 2.
Yeah,
I've
me
heard
too.
that.
Yeah.
As far as the creation story of the planet, it gets really deep.
It
I mean,
is.
I'm not sure if I was your channel or just, as far as what you showed me, it's not too far from the truth as far as the purple, the planet being purple. That he did say that, correct? Or
Yes.
did you say that?
No, no, no. Was well, I did. I said that from the video as far as like they're saying once upon a time the planet used to be purple. Possibly now, mind you, he says some scientists. Now, I'm a like peep game. I've never heard any of this either. So this is new to the both of us. This is just something we're just kind of like, it's just fun facts. We're just going to have fun and just like listen to the facts of it. Whatever you might have heard before that stands out, cool beans. But other than that, I'm going to tell you right now, I'm an infant to every last one of this that we're listening to just as much as you, beloved. Let's go.
Yeah, I think I prefer green. Number 12, the Earth's largest structure. All right, pause this video for a moment and guess.
All right. All right. So apparently they told us to guess the Earth's original structure. Okay.
The
Okay.
largest
Well,
structure.
yeah, I know, right? I don't know. That's okay. Let's see what they talk about. Let's see.
Largest structure on the planet. Most likely, you guessed the Burj Khalifa in Dubai, which is the world's tallest building, or the Tesla Gigafactory, which is the world's largest building by surface area. Unfortunately, you're not even close. That's because the world record belongs to Australia's Great Barrier Reef. This massive coral structure is a whopping 348,000 square kilometers, making it many times larger than any human-built structure on the planet. Number 11, the third pole. Believe it or not, the Earth...
Wait, I thought there was only a north and a south. Wow. There's a third pole? Hold on.
Then there would be 4
poles. Well, kind of.
You say what? You say what?
I'm saying, well, if you're thinking north, south, east, west, then there would be 4 poles.
Wow. Okay. Okay. Let's see what they're talking about right here, beloved. Let's see what we got.
While the North and the South Pole are the Earth's first 2 poles, in some ways, the Tibetan Plateau acts as a third. It's located at the intersection of South Central and East Asia. It's a land of large glaciers, permafrost, and heavy snow that feeds the Ganges, Indus, Mekong, Yangtze, and Yellow rivers. This vast amount of water, ice, and mountain range affects the atmospheric circulation and drives weather patterns across the continent. The effect
Fair use, fair use, fair use, fair use. This is used for educational as well as entertainment purposes only. And I appreciate everybody for tuning in. The time right now is 12:58 a.m. East Coast Standard Time. Thank you all for watching.
effect is so strong that it has many of the capabilities of our North and South poles. Number 10, the Earth isn't round. Before the conspiracy nuts...
What? Let's get to it. I know it's not flat. I'm gonna be honest with you. I'm not going with flat. Not gonna go for it. Let's go. I'm not. I'm sorry. The whole flat. I'm just not. I'm not going for it. Let's go.
Let's get too excited. I'm not saying that the Earth is flat. However, it's far from a perfect sphere. While it may look this way from a distance, the reality is that the Earth's shape is constantly changing. The best word we have to describe this shape is an ellipsoid. That is to say, a deformed, not perfectly symmetrical sphere.
An ellipsoid. Wow. Ellipsoid. Ain't that something?
However, even this strange shape doesn't perfectly explain the Earth's strange form.
That looks like an oval. Does that not look like a football to you, beloved? I don't know. Am I the only one?
Yeah.
Right. Doesn't it look like an oval? I don't know. So, all right. So let's see what we got.
Our planet's diameter bulges at the equator, and it flattens a bit at the poles due to the centrifugal forces created by the Earth's constant rotation. As explained by geologist Vic Baker of the University of Arizona, quote, instead of Earth being like a spinning top made of steel, it has a bit of plasticity that allows the shape to deform very slightly.
Now, this is what I'm going to say. I have to say it. To this very moment, until somebody can debunk the actual facts of how we get seasons, sunlight, dawn, dusk, the whole bit, the transition of weather, none of this will ever, that's just me. Now, I don't know, beloved, whatever you have, I mean, again, this is that place where you could just speak your mind. But me personally, the fact is this. So for people who say the earth is flat, if it was, then that means that everywhere on planet Earth would be daylight at the same time. Everywhere on Earth would be nighttime at the same time. Everywhere on Earth would have the same season and harvest time at the same time. The fact is this. You have certain places on planet Earth, like let's just take, for example, here in America. The fact is, I could just go from here on the east coast of Maryland, right? Like the magician or wizard. If I go ahead and travel over there to Cali, I'm in a whole different time zone. I go to Alabama, New Orleans, you name it, I'm in a whole different time zone. I haven't even left my country. Now you want to take this to an entire planet. It will always be something that, like, honestly, we need to recognize that the reason why we have that transition from dawn till dusk is because of the spherical aspect that is incorporated in how this aqua marble that is, 30% land that we consist of. What do you have for that, beloved? Yeah, I mean, just whatever you want to say to it. That's all. Just keeping you in here.
What I would say is, like, I like to address the earth as a realm, because there's also mysteries about the inner earth, beings that live in the inner earth. So then, I mean, I could be a character, so I'm like, well, then it's a donut, because, but everything is etherical. It's a realm. It's not as tangible. Like, we need a fixed structure, measure, flat, this, that. So it's a realm,
Okay.
So if there's inner earth beings where there's a sun, some people, it's explained there's a sun in the inner earth. That means there's way more to the planetary alignments when they happen. There's way more to the earth in existence than numbers can explain. That's what I hate kind of about numbers, because it has to be tangible, has to be measured. Not everything is measured. Not everything is tangible. That's why science, it's not real science. The real, anyway, I'm not going to get into that.
No. You're good. You're good. I'm looking at my I'm looking at the YouTube. That's all. No, I'll talk to you about it on the back end. You'll understand. Let's get back to the video. With that being said, I digress. My mic is muted. Let's go ahead and flow through this so we can go ahead and have us a wonderful evening.
The effect would be similar to spinning a bit of silly putty, though Earth's plasticity is much, much less than that of the silicone plastic clay so familiar to children, end quote. Additionally, mountains rising to heights of about 9,100 meters and ocean trenches diving down to nearly 11,000 meters below sea level further distort the Earth's shape. Even at sea level, things aren't perfect. After all, sea level is irregularly shaped, as slight variations in the Earth's gravity cause permanent hills and valleys in the ocean's surface that often measure in at over 90 meters in height. In addition to these stable oddities, the Earth also has changes that are periodic or random in nature. For example, tides affect both the ocean and the crust on a daily basis, while the drift of tectonic plates and rebound of the crust after a heavy sheet of ice is melted is slow and gradual. From time to time, earthquakes, volcanic eruptions, and meteor strikes also hit our planet, changing its shape in ways that are unpredictable. Interestingly, America's National Geodetic...
Now, this is the thing that I find so fascinating. Like, I'm gonna be quite honest with you, beloved. You know what I find to be the most deepest part about everything that I'm listening to is how I don't think we recognize how all, all of the changes and different structures that are, like how the mountains rise. We go to the asteroids. If we go to the ice age, right? There was once a period of time where the world was basically completely water, no land mass. Why
Yeah.
has the world gone through all of these changes and evolvements, right? Now I want you to think about how we're designed. We are designed, what, about 70% liquid, about 30% mass, right around the same, about a 65, I don't know, 65, 40 something, right? But the fact is that exactly how the earth is designed, exactly how science and nature has shown us how all of this is constructed, that us as humans, the evolution of how we evolve, how we change, how we adapt, I keep hearing damn near the same thing. So then that brings me to this right here, in which I'm going to give you the floor. Wow. So now that I'm thinking about it, everything that I know that is of the earth, as far as all of the multiple adaptations that it's had to go through. All right, cool beans. Me as a personal person, all of the adaptations my body, has had to go through. So now I'm to this point where I'm just trying to figure this out. How? And I mean, how possibly, beloved, do we get to a point where we became so disconnected from what it is that we're still to this very moment? Obviously, we cannot live without. So that just makes me so fascinated with that. I don't get it. What do you have for that?
Well, when you talk about the ocean, my downloads say that there was a time of the ocean. There, how we talk about ice age and different weather patterns. That's why they distort weather. Speaking of
Mm,
weather,
yep.
um, this is where an understanding of consciousness comes in. The time of the Aquarian age. I know this. I don't know how deep you can get, but they say human beings were mermaids. We were the dolphins. We were the inner earth. That's really what the inner earth, because there's more water than land to this moment. Um, so that's when you tap in. I think the disconnect comes in easily. It's just the programming from school, heartaches, trivial life issues, traumas, a lot of it where we spend most of our time outwardly. Work, 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 school, now the internet, and we're not taking time to go inside, going in, because when we close our eyes, we don't see entertainment. You can, but you gotta be patient and disciplined, and you start to see a whole world within inside yourself when you close your eyes. And then when you do that, you become real familiar with this surrounding right here, and because you're tapped in to the environment, and you will know if this is a flat realm, or a round realm, or a donut, or a triangle. Was that the question? I mean,
Basically, look, yeah, no, because I just don't want to cut you off.
Mhm.
It really is simple. I just like to kind of give my take on it and then ask the question. So the question itself is, how do we become so disconnected from something that we're all told that we return back to? How do you walk on the ground of something that most people just, for some reason, like, we are not connected to any form overall, is what I'm saying, of like most people, or not even most people. Let's say those people who just might be. All right. So I won't put a percentage on it or anything, but just curious. How do we get so disconnected to the point where we don't even recognize, like, when our own pass away? It's something that's continuous. How do we get so disconnected to where this earth is basically us? I
It
don't.
is. It is basically us.
Right.
We have created a lot of what exists here. Um, how we get disconnected, once again, it comes to the programming. The beliefs shape your reality. Your beliefs make you understand existence
Mm.
one way when it's really another way. It goes back again. It sounds redundant and simple, but it's discipline. You have to meditate. You have to do the dream work. Take your meditations as genuine as you would a 9 to 5. Closing your eyes allows you to step inside. As soon as you close your eyes, you're actually closer to who you really are. And then slowly, the longer you sit in a vibration and meditation, take deep breaths, slowing down your breath, you fall in deeper. Like, I do past life regressions, and you fall in deeper into your past life or your higher self, your consciousness self.
Yeah.
You could reconnect to that. And in doing so, you can learning yourself allows you to reconnect to the environment, nature, yourself. You have to reconnect to yourself. That's why they have us disconnected to our emotions, our mind, our body, having us hating each other, ourselves, divide and conquer, all you name it, society's dramas. Some are illusions, but because we believe in the projection that is that, like, TV, we
Yes.
believe in it, we help create it. A lot of it is based on fear, and it's easier to be fearful. So we're like, oh, okay, we'll play that game. That's another thing they call this reality: a game, an illusion, a dream. And they know how to play the game, the dream, and they're gonna mess with you. And that's the time cycle we're in, where there's people like me, you, that experience death, experience certain spiritual phenomenon, that we're like, wait, there's something not they're not telling us, because I just saw something really crazy. You know what I mean? So it's like reconnecting with self allows you to reconnect with the all, because you understand that you're in connection with everything. You got to reconnect with yourself.
And a lot of what's being said right now. This is going to be one of those lives, ladies and gentlemen. You're just going to have to watch it, if not twice, maybe 3 to 4 times. It's going to be one of those lives where just maybe you just might have to let piece by piece just sit, marinate, and settle. This is not a live in which you're going to grasp everything all at once. And you're not supposed to. You're not supposed to get it all at once. This is supposed to be a live of puzzle pieces in which helps you get further and closer to the point where you are definitely purpose driven. And that is the main thing that we make sure that we push over here. Stay purpose driven, and everything that we speak into the ether is always something that will be words for you. Beloved, I'm trying to figure this out before we get up out of here, right? Do you, in any form of fashion, know exactly how can a person, in your personal opinion and or teachings, how can someone reach their highest level self?
How can they reach their highest level self?
Yeah, I mean, or at least basically, what would you say are the steps to? That's all. The steps to.
The
And
steps,
your, yes.
the steps to becoming your higher self is taking time to self-reflect, acknowledging yourself, what you say, what you do, how you think, what you create around you, decisions you make, taking accountability for your actions, where you where you stay complacent at in your life. Self-reflection, going inside yourself, healing any traumas, any issues, reconnecting with your emotions, why you feel the way you do. Self-reflecting, why did I say that? Why do I feel this way towards this person? You know, um, why do I feel this way?
Because most people say it's that person's fault. There's no possible way that there's anything going on with me. Rock out.
Yes, yes. Um, you know, and that's the illusion, to play the game. Oh well, two can play this game. I'll do this, and then you fall, into this stupid chain. When you're done with your life, meaning like you're done with the same BS going on in your life, you're genuinely frustrated. You will seek the answer. It says so in the Hermetic text. It says like the teacher will come when the student is ready. When you're done with your life the way it is and you seek change, you're looking for a difference. All this will just start to come to you. You'll be in vibration because it's already understood, the law of attraction. As you bring to you what you vibrate, you become what you want and it will come to you. You come into what you want. You don't chase, you attract, and in becoming what you want, it comes towards you. So it starts with acknowledging self. How are you to become what you want if you don't know who you are? If you don't know what you want, some people don't even know what they want. You have to know what you want. And if you don't know, take the time. It takes time. It takes discipline. All of this is a mastering self. You only want to be greater than yourself. Everybody's trying to compete with each other, but they don't even know why they're competing. The same person isn't even doing the same thing as you are. They're not even here incarnated to do the same thing you are. And you may or may not be able to, physically, spiritually, or mentally.
Is it possible this story is true? Yes, it is. You're right. It's fact.
Yeah, that's what I always want to say. This so does it make sense? It makes perfect sense.
Wait, you think I didn't think of that? Of course I thought of that.
I'm just saying, I'm right there with you. I'm right there with you, beloved. You are absolutely crushing it. So for the last question of the evening, before we go ahead and get up out of here, we are at our 1 hour and 34 minute mark. So I would like to ask you this, so we can go ahead and put the cherry on top of the icing of this cake. Right now, I appreciate you so much. And everybody, let's make sure that we go ahead and give it up for her absolute first episode right over here at Smitty's Corner, aka the Lighthouse. You will always be welcomed, and I appreciate you. So I would like to, absolutely, beloved, absolutely. So I need to ask you this. I need to know. So when it comes to, now I want to ask you this, and I want you to give your personal advice when it comes to women. All right. I personally speak to the men. When it comes to being a woman, what is it that is, you would say, the 3 main attributes that a woman must embrace to be her highest self? The three main attributes for a woman specifically. Rock out, beloved.
I think women need to reconnect with their womb space, their which is, their sexual organs, the sacral chakra, because that's creation. Be very careful when weary who you interact with spiritually, physically, mentally, sexually, because you're a divine feminine, you're creation, you're precious, you're beautiful, your essence. So that's why there's a lot of yoni steams, women that come out with yoni steams, to cut cords, sexual cords, any ties or hooks that are in your cord, your womb space, your birth space, not to lay with anybody. So that's one. Two is your heart. Well, the womb space, it can going on. I'm getting femininity. Don't be afraid to be feminine. Don't be afraid to be feminine. Society doesn't uphold a certain level of femininity. Not anybody can be feminine. You are feminine. Women are feminine if you choose to. That may look like many different things for different people, for different women. The next thing is your heart space. Get in touch to your heart. Your heart, it's been proven, I think, that the heart might have more neurons than the brain. So don't sleep on your heart. The heart chakra, the hum for your sacral, it's vam, the sounds of the chakras. Tap into your heart chakra and your heart, and express yourself, women. Express yourself according to your sacral, your heart, and your throat chakra. It goes back to yourself, bare minimum, and it's forever. There's there's chakras outside of the body. You get into the crystalline consciousness, it gets deep, but that's the three things I would say for sure. Your sacral chakra, because you can cleanse that. Your sacral chakra, your womb space, where you birth and who you sleep with. You do not do this. You do not just sleep with anyone. Your heart chakra, and for sure your throat. Well, most importantly than the throat, I would say, is also your crown. That's why I cover my head, because I protect my crown, my head. When you do a lot of spiritual work, you cover your head. But hold yourself as precious. Hold the standard of society. Know your value, your worth, your strength, and your divinity as the divine feminine. Like the very picture he has up is the essence of divine feminine. Nature, that is the feminine space. I would just put a little bit more candles, a little bit more flowers and butterflies, and I would live right there, right there. That would it be for me.
All right. So this next question right here, before we get up out of here, is bow. All right. For the men of today, beloved, what I would like to ask you is this. What exactly would you tell the men of today in order to be the most attractive that they can possibly be to women of today? The three quality aspects that women definitely look for when it comes to that entirety of what that man should be to that woman. You have the floor, beloved.
I think it goes the same way for him. He's to know himself. A lot of men need to heal. I've spoken to a lot of gentlemen as of lately, and a lot of men, as women do, need healing. And he too should tap into his sacral chakra. Take his time. Do not sleep with any woman. Do not allow yourself to be with just anyone. Take your time to find out what are your wounds, any sexual traumas you may have as a masculine. Take your time and heal. And the same sounds go for the masculine is vam. Take your time, meditate. Don't ejaculate. Have sperm retention. Don't overly masturbate. If you're getting to a certain level of spirituality, it goes back to discipline. Discipline your body. I think men, what I would consider a man today that's attractive is discipline. Discipline and knowing himself where he's not hurting himself and the counterparts around him. So the next chakra for the masculine is definitely the heart space, healing from any trauma, childhood trauma, taking the time to go inside, cutting cords that don't serve you for your highest good, your heart, and also your I would say your throat chakra. But for sure, I would say just for a masculine, all encompassing is a certain level of discipline, self respect. Respect yourself as a man. Therefore, you can respect women, respect children, respect nature. Because what they teach a man is how much he can destroy. What he can destroy, that makes you a man. How many women you can sleep with, that makes you a man. Hurting hurting himself makes him a man. You hurt yourself, you're a man. No, it doesn't make you a man. Make you a man when you know yourself, know who you are from the inside out, and have discipline, self-respect, self-control. Know yourself. That's what makes you a man. That's what I would say.
I absolutely, yo, like I can't even front you. You're doing the damn thing. An absolute very last question for the evening. So now that we got the man's side of what it is that you see, the woman's side of this, now, what is your personal view on, let's say, the three aspects of what brings two to become one? Now let's bring the two together. What three attributes must be incorporated between the both in order for that two to mesh and become one? You have the floor, beloved. Beloved.
I think with the time that the man and the woman takes for themselves, the discipline, the love for themselves, when you come together, the first thing should be respect. Respect. A lot of relationships, there's no respect. There's no respect. No one's respect for anyone's feelings, thoughts.
Is it possible this story is true? Yes, it is. You're right. It's fact.
The next one, that's hard. Because like with respect should then come trust. You're supposed to trust each other. Bare minimum with your life and safety. Some people are in relationships where their lives are in danger. It gets crazy. So respect. Once you have respect, there's trust. And then the communication comes along. The very fundamentals, more than just love. I think a relationship is not just love. You can love somebody and not respect them. You can love somebody and not care for them. It's crazy. But that shouldn't necessarily be the case, because if you're complete and healed, all is one. Love, respect, trust. And that starts with being whole, because they teach us, look for your other half, look for your other half. You can be broken. It's better to, like I said, you attract who you are. If you're healed, you're not chasing. You'll bump into each other, man or woman, you'll bump into each other. It is. You have to take the time to go inward. Know what you want.
Well, how are we supposed to figure that out when most people have so many distractions in this everyday world? So many people have the distractions of the life that is, the music, it is the traffic, it's the jobs, it's everything that we have around us today. How do we stay focused in today's society, knowing that majority of us are not in position to even begin to think straight, let alone meditate and keep up prayer? You have the floor, beloved.
Well, it's not easy, and it's a case by case basis. But I would say, like, if we're talking overall, it goes back to how tired how tired are you of the way you live? Taking a moment and be like, this is too much. I need to take a moment for myself. Self-care is not just only physical, but it's emotional, going inward. How do you just say, this is too much? It goes back to the same thing, discipline. Because I'm thinking about for myself, because I used to be a full-time nurse, and you work 12 hours. You have the children, you have the house, you have this, you have that, you have that. After a while, sometimes your body will show you some sort of illness will happen. Usually something in life happens where it's like, whoa, this is too much. A lot of people who really have drastic changes in their life, they'll tell you something really crazy made them change. You don't want it to get there, but if you're meant to wake up, it'll have to happen for you to stop. But if you're listening to this and you've reached this far, like I would say in my channel, you're one of them that just take a moment and self-reflect. Sit in your body. I've had a gentleman, I was telling him to sit in his body. He couldn't. He literally couldn't. So that's also because he was doing other things that made it where he had to ground. But people need to sit in their bodies. Ladies and gentlemen, sit in your body. When you wake up, before you do anything, reflect on your dream, if you remember. If not, reflect on your body before you do anything. Reflect on how you feel. Did you sleep well? How does your body feel? Hold a journal. Value yourself. Have value, worth, and standards for yourself. Don't overwork yourself.
Magnificent information. Keep going, sister. Please continue and end that off. Nightcap us off, beloved.
Granted, it's easier said than done,
Mm-hmm.
I was going to say, granted, it's easier said than done. It takes work. It goes back to how are you tired of the way you live? Mindset and discipline. The mindset usually calls forth the discipline. You got to say, nope, that's not what I want. That's what I'm always reminding myself. Nope, that's not what I want. Nope, Melissa, we're not doing that. No, we've gotten too far. We got to go do this. We have to fix this. Nope, Melissa, we have to do this. Sit down with yourself. What do I have to do? You got to take your time. Self-worth. It's a process. It's a process. Be patient with yourself. Be patient with yourself. Hold a journal. Self-reflect. See what you want to change. That will allow peace for yourself. Take your time with yourself. Self-care. Physically, emotionally, mentally, take your time. As soon as you wake up, feel your body. Plan out your day if possible. At least one thing you want to do for yourself. What do you want to eat differently if you're going to eat something? What do you want to do? You know, value yourself. You know, that's what I say.
I absolutely love it. And guess what, people? With that being said, this is just episode 1 of many more to come. Respect to the family.